What's going on, guys? This guy Johnny, the one and only. Um, just wanted to talk to you guys about a very important subject in the game, and I want to touch on an old school phrase. It's a classic phrase that goes, "The game is sold and not told." And so, you know, a lot of people have heard that phrase, but you got to wonder, what does it mean? So let's go back, and first and foremost, if we look at it, the game. What are we referring to when we say the game is sold and not told? What we're referring to in the game is that there's a natural game that's being played on the planet. This game is being played on a micro level as well. So, at your job, at your school, you know, uh, in the nightlife, amongst your family, there's a game. And the game is simply, there's two different people. Well, and one person wants one person wants to have their way in an experience. And they can only do that if the other person agrees. What we got to understand is that the other person has their own ideas. And what we also must understand is there are a bunch of other people that have their own agendas. So the game is teaching you how to have your way in a world where everyone is trying to have their way. Okay? Now, we focus in on dating and relationships. We focus in on the game of male and female, of men and women, or of male and female energy, because that's the underlying thing behind every interaction. So even in a man-to-man conversation, there's a masculine feminine dynamic going on. That's why you notice, if you're good friends with somebody, you'll show them respect. And that's a way of you being in the feminine, you humbling yourself so that you and this other person can exist together on one accord, versus you two, one person's being humble but the other person's trying to run the show. In that case, that person will be in the masculine, and the person who's more humble or that's more willing to cooperate will be in their feminine. Now, what we got to understand is the masculine and feminine are equally good energies. They're equally positive, and they can be equally negative. One isn't better than the other. One can't exist without the other, and that's in any game as well. A person can't exist in a basketball game if he doesn't have a defender. You know, so there we go. Now, why is the game sold and not told? Well, the game is definitely told in the sense of people are speaking about aspects of it. But most of the stuff that people are talking about isn't real deep game. And what I mean is, somebody can go outside and shoot the basketball with you. You can play basketball and shoot around with somebody, but that doesn't mean they taught you the game. Once they start teaching the game, they're gonna show you methods and ways to get past your defender. How to sneak in and get your defender off of you, or how to get open layups and easy points. Now, I'm a person that played ball all through high school, all through middle school. I was a baller before I was anything else. And what I realized is that most of the coaches I had in my life never taught me no goddamn game. Okay? The most game I actually got as a basketball player is when I would go to 5-star camps, play with at elite camps, and get around people that were of a higher value of basketball than the coaches that were in my public school that were around my area. And that's what everyone's doing. Everyone's trying to level up so that they can get more access to the potent game. Because one thing you'll understand about mastery is, if you master one thing, you'll be able to master 10 other things way easier. Because the idea of mastery, it doesn't matter what you master. It's just the process of mastering anything that makes you a more enlightened or more higher vibrational person. So let's take it back to game when it comes to men and women. This art form is one of the most sacred, most powerful art forms, because the deeper that the masculine, any man that can go deeper into the world of women and understand the mind and experience and relation and be able to relate to women at a high level, they now unlock doors of information for themselves. You learn through your opposite. And same thing with women. A woman, that's why you notice women that are in the adult industry or women that are strippers a lot of the time, they have a certain level of power and knowledge and thoroughness because they understand the true aspect of male nature, and they're not naive about it, and they're not against it, which gives them a different level of power than a girl that's a square girl who wants to just get married and thinks her husband should be a saint and only talk to her and blah blah blah. See, a stripper is already gonna know how men really think. She's already gonna know male desires. She's already gonna have dealt with the dark side of male nature, and which would allow her to embrace the light side of male nature. So the same thing applies with men. The deeper you're able to go into the feminine, the more knowledge you're able to attain, the more opportunities you're gonna have, the more resources you can attract, the more energy and high vibration you'll have, okay? Because women unlock a beautiful door into energy for a man. Because that's on a deep level, on a spiritual level, that is a high level of mastery to be able to understand the feminine as a man, and vice versa. And then also understand yourself. By understanding them, you understand yourself more. And that's really why you become more attractive, because you understand the truths of how women move, which then reflects back to you, and you're like, oh shit, okay, now I know how to move. So long story short, this science is so sacred, and that's the problem, is that if you don't respect the science, and if you just tell people, number one, are going to degrade the information. They're not going to really understand it. They're not worthy of it. And what's going to happen essentially is, you know, it's going to be the equivalent of a black belt teaching one move to somebody who's like at a white belt level. And that white belt dude running around trying to beat up everybody with that one move he learned from a black belt. He didn't even master the move yet. He's just running around doing it. Beyond that, this game is so precious, and it only a few understand it. You see, this game is so powerful that honestly you never have to have a job again. When you understand this art form at a certain level, you can drive around all day just looking fly as hell, hanging out with all the different feminine beauties in your life, and you don't gotta do shit. I know men that are richer than any 9-to-5 dude because they mastered the art of making women feel amazing. Because what you gotta understand is, when you invest in a woman, when you really put a positive experience into her life, and when you truly understand her, women love to be understood. Women exist in the world, especially beautiful women, in a world where all the men around them, from the older men to the younger men, are all seem stupid to them because they don't understand that these men are so behind. They're still chasing the pussy, and she's 10 levels past that. So any man that can sit with her and make her feel like a woman again, by making her feel like she can learn something, by making her feel like she can level up, by making her see that there are men that can reflect her beauty and confidence that she can see externally, women will give the world to a man that understands them. You know, so when you understand this knowledge, you actually have your hands on something that can make you a millionaire effortlessly. So I can go on and on, but the game is sold and not told. And what you'll find out is that most of the people you've learned from, they've given you information. But anybody that got some real deep game, you're gonna have to pay up. You're gonna have to put in some work. You're gonna have to come to the master and be like, yo, with open ears, ready to learn. If you don't have that mentality, you'll never have real game. And you can continue to learn game from those guys that are telling y'all bullshit. But when you know somebody has real game, they'll always put a high value on that knowledge, because they know with this knowledge, it puts me in the 1% of men, because less than 1% of men truly understand women and truly understand how to relate, especially to beautiful women. That is a gift if you get to experience that in a lifetime. You know, I've heard OGs say it took men spent their whole life trying to figure out how to truly understand women, and they don't figure it out. He knows some of them didn't figure it out till they finally got to their 60s. So to have this knowledge at my age and the amount of work I put in, I always say this: I wouldn't trade my knowledge for nothing. You can give me $1 billion right now to say I'll just trade you your information, and you'll have to forget all of this information, but you'll have $1 billion. You can learn it again. No, I don't want to learn it again. You know. So with that being said, guys, you know, thanks for listening, and just want y'all to know the game is sold and not told. You're getting crumbs, but until you really connect with me, and I can really sit there and really explain the deep shit to you, you just collecting crumbs. You know, but hey, you know, if you get enough crumbs, hopefully that keeps you full for a little while. Aside from that, man, you know, all my guys that's really in the game, don't be giving this game away to these lame motherfuckers, man. Make sure they worthy of it, and you know, we all gonna meet at the top. Peace.